Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the Overwolf for Curseforge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so what we're going to be actually going over today is we're going to be going over Overwolf's beta version for the new Curseforge for add-ons. Now obviously this came out like pretty much yesterday evening for me, but I've had a quick nice little gander at it. So pretty much let's just have a look at what it actually does and what are we looking in for in the future when it comes towards Curseforge add-ons. Now over the last couple of months there has been a few different types of desktop applications for add-on development, mainly for either specifically this game or multiple other games. Now the Curseforge one that is done for Overwolf actually covers a wide variety of different types of games. This one's quite good if you are a multi-game player, of course, but if you're a specific game player, this also works well for you. So let's have a quick gander at what it actually does. So at this moment, standard UI, you get it up, it loads up. You can have this to boot as soon as you come in. We can have a look at different types of things that are actually going about. They have a little bit of a slider that actually drags it along and tells you what game version it's actually for, who the author is. So obviously my name's there, Dalaranos, and then we can just have a look and basically have a look at what is the zip file, which is the add-on in question that's actually inside of it, along with the different types of other things that are actually going about. So we can see if it's up to date or it's been recently updated. And by the way, one little side note, these ones, if I've actually been fiddling around with my code as like a little bit of a side note right here, it'll actually show up that says it may be corrupt and it's otherwise been modified. So if I've actually modified it, so say I'm developing WorthIt for instance, WorthIt will actually come up with a triangle, like a yellow triangle with an exclamation mark, and it will actually say this one is pretty much been modified, so would you like to reinstall it to make sure that it's actually fixed? Kind of helpful, I love it. Now aside from all of that, is it easy to actually use for our add-ons? Yeah, as a pretty good suite. Actually, it gives you a nice overview of everything. It's pretty clean. The only thing that I do take issue with is the move aside to see all this other stuff, because to be quite honest, you really don't need this latest version zip folder type thing. All people want to know is if it's up to date or not. So realistically, you could just make this like a little bit smaller in the grand scheme of things. So you don't have to really need to see the actual zip file because it never really changes all that much. So that is something that you may want to consider. But to be quite frank, you would obviously want to see the game version. You obviously could see the author. You could have that as on a toggle on and off for the latest version zip folder and the author. Just toggle it on and off whether you want it, and that would actually save some space within the actual main window, so you wouldn't actually have to require a slider to look at all the other relevant information, because the actual zip folders, as well as in latest version, it's actually shown here. So you don't really need latest version for that. So that's one thing that I would say. You could probably have a toggle in your settings, which is just down here, and then just remove that. That would make it a lot easier, a bit more cleaner, and it would actually get rid of the need of actually having a slider in the main UI. That's the one thing I would remove or have as a toggle. So if it's toggled, then produce a slider for people to see so they can have the option. The option is better than having no option. Now, aside from all of that, get more add-ons. Okay, so it actually has a little loading screen and then it comes onto the actual Curseforge area. We could do Deadly Boss mods, weak auras, Raider.io, details, Addons, all that stuff. So, that being the case, this one's actually fairly easy. It's pretty much, you just click on it and you just press install and it will just install it for you. So, aside from all of that, that's actually pretty good. They don't really mess with the layout all that much. It's just a different color variation instead of white on black, where on the website this one's black on white. So you know, it's a bit different. It looks pretty cool, and to be quite honest, it actually is a bit more cleaner in the aesthetics than on the website. So I kind of do aim for that. Now, you can also run the games through this. So this is a little side note. It'll actually say where it is actually located. So obviously it's detected my 2 retail accounts. Yes, I have one on one hard drive and one on the other. So if one of my hard drives has a funny 5 minutes, I can just boot it on the other hard drive. That's my methodology on that. But Classic, obviously, I can run any one of my actual games on there, so I can just press run game and run it. I can use it to manually add games, I can scan my computer for games, and I can repair my folder permissions. Now, realistically, you won't ever really need to touch any of this, but it's just a nice thing to keep in mind. So, obviously, your game is located there. If it hasn't detected your game, however, you can manually do it. But other than that, you can launch a game through this. The other thing of note is when you're getting more add-ons, you have the same thing as Curseforge shows, because obviously this was like more based as a web application, so that's pretty handy because it actually makes the package of the actual software a lot less, so that it doesn't have to carry everything on there. So the size of it doesn't have to be that big. Now we can actually go to our home and it will say all supported games for add-ons, and that's actually kind of handy. I don't actually have like Minecraft and all that stuff, so it's obviously not going to show up. But if it isn't on your computer, then it will come as like a bit darker, and then if it is, then like this one here, it's actually glowing. So that's one thing you may want to bear in mind. Now, other things that you can do is you can actually click on Discord, and you can actually join their Discord straight through for different types of things. So we could actually join the Curseforge Discord through there if we need any additional support, any bits of problems, right there. So, other things of note, you can always go to support, which is get help on the Discord for obvious reasons. That's another link towards Discord. You have the browse our help center, so that would be Curseforge, and then you can open a ticket up within the application. Suggest a feature. This is because it's still in beta. You can suggest something to actually change or modify. I'm actually going to recommend that little change to the slider, maybe add it as a toggle on and off. But aside from all of that, that's pretty straightforward right there. Do I really like this in settings? So obviously, having a look at settings, you can actually decide on a load of different things. I prefer to have my Curseforge not load upon startup, so that's one thing right there. I just primarily prefer it because, well, I just don't like everything booting up at the beginning of my computer's run session. I'm happy to do it myself, but you can decide whatever you want, where you want. Now, aside from all of that, if you want to exit, you can choose hide Curseforge or exit Curseforge, and if I wanted to press exit like here, it will exit Curseforge and Overwolf at the exact same time. But what's actually happening is when you actually download the Curseforge thing, you're actually downloading Overwolf at the exact same time, and we'll get into that momentarily. So what we actually want to do is we want which game to focus on when Curseforge launches. We want to automatically focus on a Curseforge game, and we want to set it to this one. This is so it will actually focus directly on my retail account in order to actually update it. So that's kind of handy overall. I think that's a bit more cleaner, more easier, and it's very easy to find within the settings as it's on the main panel. I find that quite helpful. Now, do we want add-ons to be updated every hour, or every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, or every 3 hours? This will provide you a scan of how many of these add-ons will actually be scanned, and then it will be like, okay, these ones need updating, boom, 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 done. It will actually do it for you, so it will keep it updated for you on that sense. Privacy settings you can obviously set, but to be quite frank, there's not an awful lot aside from just Overwolf settings that you can actually set up. So what we're actually going to have a look at now is we've basically covered the entire thing of this. I kind of like it. It looks very good, and overall you can obviously delete, sync, update and update all if I really wanted to, and I've set it in my settings to simultaneously update as many as 20 or add-ons at once. So for obvious reasons you can decide that as well within your settings. So, what do I actually think of this? Actually, the Curseforge application looks pretty good. You've done a very good job, Overwolf. I very much like it compared to the Twitch way of doing it. So this is obviously my review of this beta version of it. Obviously, I would have my own different types of things on it, but that's just personal preference. Coming into Overwolf, when you actually download Overwolf for the actual application, this will come up this is something that I am not very keen on. Okay, so their Curseforge application is really good, but their Overwolf application, I don't like it all that much. Number one, I don't know why this automatically comes up. It's very irritating for me, but after like a few minutes it actually does disappear from your screen. It runs in the background. So what I can do here is I can open up Curseforge within the Overwolf thing, and that's on my sidebar. And then also I can go to the application store. So I can go to the app stores, for instance, for Overwolf. So that's one thing I could do right there. And quite frankly, it takes a little while to load up and all that jazz. But overall, it looks kind of alright. So you can download applications, games and all that stuff from there. You can get your skins, you can get your mods, and you can get your applications as well. So you can have a look at your library. I've got Curseforge, just Curseforge, but overall looks kind of alright. I'm not too keen on it, not overly impressed by it. To be more precise, this is mainly just an overview of the Curseforge application, which I thoroughly like, but I would like to be able to... I know that Overwolf work on this, but I'd prefer it if I didn't have the option of having Overwolf with it, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want the Overwolf software to come with it. I'd just like to have the Curseforge application done by Overwolf. That would be my one little gripe with it, and also the one thing that does bug me, and that's just, the scroll wheel. The latest version is not necessary because it's already declared there. So that is one thing that I would actually remove. But aside from all of that, it looks very good. You can remove the ad, which is on the right hand screen. Obviously they've got to make money. They're a software company and they are doing stuff for add-ons which don't actually generate revenue. So they've obviously got to have ads to actually support themselves to keep up with development. So that's something you can do moving forward. But aside from all of that, you can also subscribe to get rid of the ads if you so wish, and that can free up a bit more space on your UI. But aside from all of that, what do I think on it? It looks very good. I like it. Looks very clean, and overall I look forward to actually seeing the development of this in the future, so that hence why I've actually downloaded it. Yeah, I would just get rid of the Overwolf thing. I don't like it. It just sticks to my screen. I know it disappears, but it bugs me somewhat. It's not ideal. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much my review on the Curseforge application done by Overwolf on the beta version of that. So if you want to actually try it out for yourself, then the link will be in the description down below. Other than that, guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.